here, Captain. I never thought I'd see it with my own eye.
Chainsaw Man the movie, Rize Arc.
Dude, I'm so fucking late. I was going to do this unscripted like Giguk did, but apparently I'm a bumbling mess. This is like the 12th time I've had to re-record this, but apparently 22 years of knowing English gets thrown out the window when I sit in front of a microphone. Like, it just goes away. So I have to do this scripted, or you're just going to hear a bunch of ums and ahs and a whole lot of silence. So here goes. Is the Chainsaw Man Rize Arc a good movie? Bro, yes! Otherwise this video would be pointless. But before I go into depth, let me start this off with a story. When I was 15 years old, a thing I would do often whenever I was bored out of my mind, use my school iPad to read manga. Shout out to Kiss Manga. This is how I discovered series like Solo Leveling, Berserk, Oyasumi Pon Pon, Gantz, Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei, and Dice. Yo, y'all remember Dice? That was like my first manhwa, now that I think about it. But more importantly, the works of Tatsuki Fujimoto. My first introduction to him being Now, if you had to guess what Fire Punch was about, you'd probably assume it was a guy with the power to control fires that likes to punch, and you would be incredibly wrong. Now, that's too normal. Tatsuki Fujimoto doesn't do normal.
今から浮きます。
Instead, you'd get something really weird. You get a frozen wasteland where some humans are born with special abilities called blessings. Some can control electricity, others can manipulate spears, and this guy, what the fuck? Or in our main character's case, Agni, not the ability to control fire, but the ability to regenerate. And the reason why it's called Fire Punch is because of a military group discovering that the villages they lived in practiced cannibalism, eating the limbs and body parts provided by Agni. And for that they were punished by being lit on fire, a fire so hot that it'll never go out until your body is mere ashes, a fire that never extinguishes. Wait a minute, what does that mean for Agni? Because of the years of sacrificing himself, his regeneration was much stronger than his sister Luna, who dies in front of him, with her last words being, to live. Fueled now by his sister, hold on, let me do my action voice. So, fueled by his sister's last words and his desire for revenge, he walks through the frozen tundra for the man that killed Luna. And from there, the story is not as straightforward. Wacky shenanigans occur. People start believing Agni is a god. There's a character who loves movies and is constantly referencing movies, who wants to make Agni's story into a movie, who's also trans, but because he has the same ability as Agni, can't get a sex operation. And then there's this guy who wants these girls to fuck his dog and let him watch. You know how this first section was me set up Agni's cool and tragic backstory? Well, in the same chapter, his sister wants to fuck him. The story's just weird and unconventional, and I fucking love it. Speaking of sisters, let's talk about his one-shots. Damn, that was a good transition. Look, I don't want to go through all of these in depth. I'll just give you the TLDR and hone in on my favorites. A couple clucking chickens were still kicking the schoolyard. Aliens successfully defeated Earth and humans become nothing more than livestocks hunted down and eaten, just as chickens once were to people. However, 2 human survivors, Yuta and Ami, conceal themselves as chickens in a school courtyard overrun by aliens, which the aliens don't find appealing. However, an alien named Yohei discovers their secret and decides to help them survive. The title of this story being based on a famous Japanese tongue twister, meaning he saw this and thought it would make for a great story. Sasuke stopped a bullet. Sasuke idolizes his teacher, Kawaguchi, for inspiring his confidence when an incel suddenly comes in and holds the classroom at gunpoint. The teacher offers herself as long as he lets the classroom go. Sasuke then fights to defend her by using her own lessons to push his limits, achieve the seemingly impossible. Love is blind. Student Council President Ibuki credits his achievements to fellow member Yuri. He decides to confess his love for her before graduation, prioritizing over everything else. He is determined to overcome any obstacle. Shikaku. This psychopath is hired by an immortal vampire desperate to die for $100 million. After failing to kill him, their mutual empathy forms a connection. Mermaid Rhapsody. A young man named Toshida, who is part mermaid, plays piano underwater. What the fuck? Did I write tongue twister on my fucking script? A young man named Toshida, who is part mermaid, plays piano underwater. Wait, I could do it that time. A young man named Toshida, who is part mermaid, plays piano underwater. Huh. Okay, I guess. His music attracts a mermaid, Shiju, who saves him from drowning. They bond over piano lessons, but their friendship is threatened by Toshida's fear of the legend that mermaids prey on humans. This one being made because a Shonen Jump editor told Fujimoto that he couldn't write a normal story, which he then took as a challenge. Woke up as a girl syndrome. After waking up with wake up as a girl syndrome, Toshihide faces bullying and must reevaluate his relationship with his girlfriend Rie. With his new reality, he's forced to shed his non-confrontational nature and fight to build a new life and rediscover who he truly is. This one made me really uncomfortable, but it was so funny at times. Also, the brother wasn't going this. Nayuta of the Prophecy. Born child born without a human heart and cursed speech is prophesied to end the world, feared by all and blamed for tragedies. Many seek her death, but she is protected only by her devoted brother Kenji. As he cares for her, the public fears grow, and Kenji must grapple with the duty of loving the sister who could one day end the world. And lastly, Sisters. Essentially look back light, but nonetheless still compelling. Mitsuko's school publicly displays a nude portrait of her, the person who made it being her own sister Kyoko. Forced to endure a year of humiliation from classmates, Mitsuko vows to humiliate Kyoko the same way she has. Out of all these, my favorite being Nayuta of the Prophecy. Not only is my favorite Tatsuki Fujimoto one-shot, probably my favorite one-shot ever. And yes, I have read Look Back and Goodbye Eri. And as much as I love Goodbye Eri's fucking with the reader and making you wonder, is this real or is this part of the movie? And as much as I love Look Back, a love letter to art and its ability to provide connection, process trauma, immortalize memories, and offer hope, I just can't help it. Something about it just tickles my brain funny. It's the first thing that pops in my head whenever somebody says the word one shot. Or 2 words, I guess. Like, I remember reading it and being genuinely pissed off that it ended. I wanted to keep going, to learn more about this world, about these 2 siblings. Would Kenji be able to keep his promise to ensure his sister would stay on the right track? Is there a possibility there could be some bad actors to see the world destroyed? This world and story was just brimming with potential, and this was finally answered with Chainsaw Man Part 2. But just as Fujimoto giveth, he taketh away. But that's a video for another day. If you know, you know. Also, fun fact, Nayuta was created out of a dare between Fujimoto and his editor, who told him that he could not create memorable characters, leading him to write the one-shot as a way to prove them wrong. He states that he still has a fondness for this character to this day. Must have been not fond enough. If anybody cares, this is my ranking. After reading all his works, 3 things come to mind. Number 1. This guy has a weird thing about sisters. So much so that if you know one thing about Tatsuki Fujimoto, that's the fact this dude even roleplayed as his own sister on Twitter. A sister that doesn't even exist in the first place. And this all came to light when his editor threatened to sue them and get his account suspended, leading to Tatsuki Fujimoto having to prove that was really him. Anyways, number 2, man, this dude is weird. And number 3, damn, this shit's peak. And then he starts working on Chainsaw Man. I've been a fan of Chainsaw Man since its release in December 2018, so I was 15 at the time, a year younger than Denji throughout part 1. So if you look at my videos about characters I hate and wonder why all the people in the comments are giving me shit for liking Makima, it's because I was also the same age as him. Got the same first impression as her as him, and even by the end of it, just like Denji, I still couldn't help but like her. But yeah, I've been a fan since I was 15. I'm 22 now, so I've had this manga close to my heart for 7 years. It's pretty self-evident since I will take any opportunity to reference it in my videos. Do I need to show this entire video? But the thing is, I wasn't always the biggest fan of it. Don't get me wrong, I liked it, I just didn't love it. More like I just knew about it and would check on it every once in a while. I started when it was only at 3 chapters, came back to it when it was 12, 18, and I kept going back and forth with it, and my issues were the same reason I could never call Chainsaw Man my favorite anime. I thought of it as a monster of the week type situation. You know, it had the fight with the Bat Devil, and then it went to the Eternity Devil, and with the Katana Man and Yakuza arc. It wasn't until the Bomb Devil arc that I felt like we had reached the meat and potatoes of the story. Villains were more compelling and complex, death carried more weight, and it produced a whole bunch of world building. It's these exact reasons I was never able to call season 1 of Chainsaw Man one of my favorite animes, because I only adopted those weaker arcs of the story, because for some reason it was decided that it would be better to make season 1 12 episodes instead of 24 episodes like it did with Jujutsu Kaisen. But despite that, and despite what other people thought about its art style, the pacing, the use of CGI, I still thought it was a pretty good show. But like I said before, it wasn't able to peak and ascend to greatness. With the release of the Chainsaw Man Rize arc, I can finally say that it's reached that level. It has become one of my favorite animes of all time, because by the end of it, I was in my car thinking to myself, the relationship, it was so beautiful. I absolutely loved the movie. I'm sure if you looked over at me while I'm watching it, I had this big huge grin on my face, just loving every second of it. I was like a baby watching Cocomelon for the first time, locked in, clapping my hands and feet like a baby. But I did come into the theater anxious because, like, I know when it comes down to animating fight scenes, Mappa is the best. We've seen their work in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 with Mahoraga versus Sukuna or Mahito versus Yuji. No, the stuff I was really worried about was the romantic elements of this arc. Usually I really hate romance. In anime, it's always the same cliche stories. It's always set in a high school, following the same cliches, or it's roped in for no reason at all. There are only a handful of times where I actually like romance. Romances like Veil, which is the only purely romantic series that I actually like, or in Berserk with Casca's and Guts' relationship, or Eren and Mikasa in Attack on Titan. This series has some of my favorite relationship dynamics. Denji and Power, Aki and Angel. I know we haven't gotten there yet, but Asa and Yoru. The relationship between Denji and Reze is one of my favorite dynamics in this series, probably even ever in any medium. Well, I like Asa and Denji too, though maybe not ever. This wasn't a want, okay? This is a need. The movie needed it to be done perfectly. They adapted an entire arc into a movie. One of my favorite arcs ever. So I was worried that it was going to be rushed because I knew it had to be done immaculately in order for it to pay off and end. Take a look at the Titanic. The first half of the movie is a romance between Jack and Rose, and the second half, spoiler alert if you didn't watch the movie or you know real life, tells the sinking of the ship and the tragic end of Jack and Rose's budding romance. The reason the second part works so well is because of that first half. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? The reason what makes Denji's and Rize's relationship so tragic is because of that first half. And boy oh boy did they do a great job. Despite being only 100 minutes long, they have successfully made me fall in love with these characters all over again. Another thing I want to say, not only did they successfully make me fall in love with Rize, but they also made her fucking terrifying. There's a specific moment where she attacks the public security building and then just suddenly disappears but then reappears in the corner with that guy's arm in her mouth. I totally forgot that was in the manga. I was genuinely shocked when I saw that. Mappa went above and beyond and it blew away my expectations. For some reason, studios get the idea, cut things out, or make subtle changes, even though most people just want a faithful one-to-one adaptation. But not only did MAPPA do a faithful adaptation, it somehow made it even better. My god, the animation was fucking mwah! Especially with the later half of the movie, where for the last 40 minutes of the movie was just pure action. It was as smooth as butter, but made for the eyes. A lot of times when I'm watching 2D animation, I'll think to myself, just how did they get it to look so good? And usually, I'll think of something maybe even remotely close to how they did it. But there were times in this movie where my brain just couldn't comprehend how they got it to look that good. Like specifically what comes to mind was when they did that art style change during Denji and Reize's fight in the tower. Everything became all fiery and Reize was doing these Metal Gear Solid style CQC moves on him. Or when Denji and Beam was fighting Typhoon, and the music was phenomenal. Not only was it good, but it was able to elevate the scenes in the movie, like in the pool or in the sea. Every time I hear this, I just start crying now. Depression just hits like a truck. And in my opinion, I think an underrated one is Reize, which plays when Denji asks her if she just wants to run away from him on the beach, and Reize comes in closer and you just hear this. Now I could be wrong because I'm not like a music expert, nor do I know music theory. This moment in this song to me sounds like her wavering. She's being tugged by two sides. One side tells her to run away and be with Denji, or to escape alone. I don't know, that could be me though, just picking up signals that weren't there to begin with. Also shout out to Kenshi Yonezu who did this opening and the ending for this movie. I'm not the biggest fan of his stuff. There are some songs I do like and some songs I don't. From what I've heard, he seems to be a big fan of the series, but he did a great job, and Arasaka got us all hyped up for the movie. But Jane Doe though, when I tell you the moment I clicked on the preview and the song played, instantly nutted into my pants. Bro, I felt like I was floating. Take a look at these lyrics. The song is literally about them. Where are you? I'm here. What are you doing? I've always been watching over you. Let's fill this world with mistakes. Stay by side, let's go have some fun. Where are you? And then no reply. Dude, this shit hurts. Get ready to be blasting this 24/7 because you're gonna walk out that theater with irreparable emotional damage. I sat in my car playing Jane Doe, and not gonna lie, man, I was pretty close to just swerving my car into the opposite lane. Just go out like McSkillet. I don't know if I can put that in. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. Whether I'm eating or going to the gym or shitting, I just can't stop. Like, it's sort of embarrassing just how invested I was in this movie, because I feel like a family member just died or something. I just got out of a long-lasting relationship. Everywhere I go, I just see her face. The worst part is I can't even get motivated to watch any other anime right now, because before this, I was watching Kara no Kyokai, a goated series of my previous favorite animated movies, and I had this idea to make a video where I review all of Type Moon's IPs and their adaptations. Like, I even started playing Tsukihime. But now I can't even bring myself to play that, nor watch Unlimited Blade Works. Like, how can anything else reach the standard? It's almost unfair to any other studio. Like, I genuinely feel like a spoiled brat right now because MAPPA's next thing is season 3 of JJK. Even then, I'm like, no, I don't want it. Toss at the wall like I'm a little kid throwing away his vegetables. I want season 2 now. Truth is, I never went to school either. Bro, Fujimoto, you did it. Reize has become a lingering curse in my head.